Okay, so what it sounds like is going on here is that you're giving them, I'm assuming you're giving them a W-4V and they're refusing it. Fine. The W-4, the new W-4 form does have like a little check to mark exempt, so that way you don't have to have your taxes taken out anymore. But this is something you should not do until you've already done the revocation of election, because of the fact that at the end of the year, the IRS is going to tell you that you got to file. Okay? But that's what it sounds like to me. If you sent the termination of W-4, usually it's the W-4V. If you send something other than that, then they don't have to take it. The thing that they do have to take is the W-4V. Here, I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. So this is the voluntary withholding request form. Okay, the form is actually down here. Okay, up here, this is the instructions up here. And then this is the form down here. And it says, I want you to stop withholding federal income tax from my payments. That's it. So you can use this form to do it. This is an actual IRS form. Okay, although this doesn't say IRS. It's not the IRS website. Let me see. Here it is. This is the IRS version of it. Oh, look at that. They changed it. It's different now. They put it on top instead of the bottom. Okay, so this is the new one. And as you can see, this is the IRS website. This is, yep, brand new one, because the old version was a little tariff thing on the bottom, but now they put it up on top. So this thing right here, I want you to stop withholding federal income tax for my payments. Okay, so you can utilize this form with your employer if you want to. Otherwise, if you're just giving them like a letter, right, that you wrote, they may or may not take it. Obviously, in your case, they're not taking it. So maybe try that form if you didn't try that already. See if that works. But remember, if you haven't done the ROE, the revocation of election, doing this form is not going to do you very good, because the IRS is going to come later on. So keep that stuff in mind, that everything is done. Everything needs to be done in a specific order in order for things to work properly. Okay, it's like when you're changing a tire, right? You have to like loosen the lug nuts first and then raise the car up, right? So you have to jack the car up after you loosen the lug nuts, and then vice versa. If you try to jack the car up and then try to undo the lug nuts, you're going to need like special drills to do it. Otherwise, you're not gonna be able to do it. All right. So just like that, it's like, do things in order, right? You don't put the new oil in the engine before you get rid of the old oil. Okay, so you have to get rid of the old, make sure it's all drained out, change the filter, and then put the new oil in, right? So everything has to be done in a specific order. If it's not done in a specific order, it doesn't work. This is a big issue I've noticed happening online with people when people complain about how things didn't work. It's usually one of like 3 or 4 different things, right? One is that they didn't do it in order. 2, they didn't have the right information. 3, they didn't apply it correctly, that's usually what it comes down to, is those 3 things. Like, they didn't do it in the right order, right? Which means it's out of sequence. 2, they didn't have the right information. 3, that they applied it incorrectly. I mean, there could be other things involved, like they had the right information and then didn't correctly apply it, or they had bad information, applied it correctly. But those are all just, like subversions of that issue. Okay, so just keep that stuff in mind. That's how that goes. All right, but try that, see if that helps. But remember, like I said, everything has to be done in the correct order, or it doesn't work. Okay, see you later.